here is big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
But in the third raise, essentially pre-flop, Ace-King from Mike, who's a good player, may have folded his hand. And so his decision to just call behind allowed a flop to come out, and he was able to stack his opponent. It's always frustrating for Mike when you essentially, not to say he was bluffing on the flop, but when you are betting with nothing and then you get there and you're still not good. It's a really tough spot to be in.
Drawing dead in essence.
Right.
Wasn't really drawing dead. He could have hit any of aces, but the king was his killer card.
Serge's going to fold. Mike now going to take a break from their big pot.
$20 raise from Alex with ace queen spades.
Yeah, 4 chips.
Spade to...
We do know that
Tara Lynn is in the pot, and she's going to call.
So my favorite player at the table, Tara Lynn, who I have no shame in saying I want to win.
15 more.
And a couple garbage hands are going to get out of there.
And then heads up.
Heads up.
40 in the pot, pre-flop.
It's interesting, Nicole, to always play when you play someone like Lynette, who, and it seems that she doesn't have obviously very great knowledge of the game.
Lizette or Tara Lynn?
I'm sorry, Tara Lynn, because
6 chips.
you know, a lot of poker is reading your opponent, and when your opponent isn't quite sure what's happening, it's really hard
It's very tough to get a
really
read
hard
on
to bet accordingly.
Yeah, so Alex bet 30. Tara Lynn said, I'm going to call. She said 6 chips. She said, I'm going to call that bet with her gut shot. She hit her jack on the turn. Not good enough quite yet. Alex is going to bet again.
And I think Alex is playing right, because usually against less experienced opponents, you don't want to get too fancy, because they're not going to really understand your fancy plays, and you want to I feel play a little more straightforward against them. And if I was Alex right now, I'd actually be moderately concerned, because that jack's really not a good card. There's now 2 straights have gotten there.
But about now, a one-liner to a straight, a club, and you have an unknown entity basically that you're playing against. You have no clue what they possibly could be holding.
you and me.
Yeah, just like it's
Still just you two, Tara Lynn.
So can I bet any?
And Alex has checked.
Yeah, if you want.
Check.
Oh, she bets 5.
That's $5. $5 into this pot of
And Alex says,
well over 200 of a team,
and Tara Lynn's going to instantly put it in. So
and I imagine Alex does not think he has the best hand.
I think he does. I think he was value raising her on the river. I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. He was only bet 30. It's hard to think that he was trying
Alex's
to bluff
face
her.
very concerned about what she was going to turn over.
That's so weird. Did he think he was bluffing? Because that was a very interesting bluff if he thought that's what he was doing for $30 on that river. But he got Tara Lynn to call with her jack.
And note how this hand played out, because against a experienced opponent, those turn and river cards are really bad cards if you have ace queen. It just seems that every possible holding that your opponent could have is now beating you.
Yeah, if they didn't already have ace king, if they had ace jack, ace 10, ace 9, ace 8, anything that they possibly can have.
Basically,
king, queen, you beat absolutely nothing. So it was really interesting the way the whole hand played down. And we understand Tara Lynn's thinking, because Tara Lynn is new to the game and she's getting used to it. But I don't understand what Alex was thinking on that river. If he was bluff raising or value raising, a very interesting play by him. Aces one more time. They're going around from Serge, and he made.
And especially kind to Mike tonight.
Oh, looks like Zach's wife is in the chat booth tonight. She says, Zach is my husband, and I'm still happy for that girl. Oh, that's so sweet. And actually, I was just talking to Zach, who is going to be in the booth the last hour of the night, and he was saying he has a 10-month-old. So this must be his wife at home with his little baby. And thank you for joining us. I don't even know Zach's wife's name, because she's going by Zach on the chat booth.
15.
Hopefully it's not Zach.
It's not Zach. It would be hard to be Zach. It would be very hard for him to be. He's a magician if he's out there doing that.
Chatting under the table.
Race it.
15 from Zach with queen 10. Alex's announced raise out of seat 1 with 10-5 of clubs.
And I'll say this, 10-5, and especially 10-5 suited, has caught on a little bit more for the reason, do you know, Nicole? Because no straight in all of Hold'em can be made without either a 10 or a 5 in your hand. And so sometimes people like seeing the 5-10, especially suited, and bring them just for those extremely small chances.
I think it's garbage, but whatever.
But if you are going to 3-bet, you should 3-bet with,
yes, absolutely.
with garbage or with good hands.
And I absolutely agree. I think a lot of people sometimes they're like, okay, well now and that aggression works for Alex. Now we're learning to be a little more aggressive pre-flop. We're doing a couple 3-bets to hide, put a little deception into our play. But now when do we do it? And we see a lot of players doing it with maybe pocket 9s or pocket 8s. In the case where we saw Ed do it in the beginning, it's a little different, where he had the button and he was re-raising a late position raiser. But really, stronger hands like 8s and 9s, maybe like Jack 10 suited or King Queen suited are hands you really want to just call. And you do want the hands like 10-5, basically garbage hands are the ones you want to 3-bet, or the big hands, aces, kings, queens, ace, king.
$20.
But not just the big hands. So it is good to see what we saw Alex do there, is mix it up.
And that's what, when you hear players say their range is polarized, that's basically what they're saying. It's either they have more or less the nuts or nothing.
25 raise from Alex on the button.
And a big flop for Alex. I know, not a huge flop, but the flop you're kind of looking to see when you raise with King Jack. Middle pair and open end straight draw.
75 in the pot. They check it over to Alex.
35.
Makes it 35.
Easily going to get through two players who have the cards lower than on the board. And Alex is going to take it down. UB jersey and all.
Is he wearing a UB? Where? It is. Oh, wow. It's funny that you say that he's wearing a UB jersey. Wow, he is. That's hilarious. Because actually Bryce came into the table in seat 4, came into the table today wearing a full tilt hat. And everyone was like, what, really? Really? But nobody gave Alex crap for wearing this UB jersey.
OUB full tilt. The days of yesteryear. It's throwback night here live at the bike.
15 under the gun from Zach with ace 8.
So that's going to call with king queen off, out of position. And again, that's
500 maximum buy-in. You're watching live at the bike here at the Bicycle Casino. Cole Jurgens, Keith Warnley.
Hello, everybody. I'm waving even though you can't see me, but take my word for it.
I'm thinking.
We're doing a KLAC promotion every Friday during football. Tara Lynn is the winner of that promotion tonight. $20 raise on the button from Alex with ace deuce of clubs. Call from Serge with queen 7 of clubs, and they're heads up.
Check it.
Serge's going to flop the pair. Top pair. See if Alex continues. Looks like he just may.
30.
Alex misses that flop by a wide margin, but is going to continuation bet.
He does bet 30. Serge calls. So over 100 in the pot.
Turn gives a pretty fast check.
So you guys would share those cards. So what's the best?
We're going to see Alex going to try to bet here. UB Ice going to take a shot at it. And we'll see if it'll work. It's kind of a scary board, but I'm not sure if it's going to get through Surge. This is an interesting spot where where sometimes an overbet may work. If a lot of times overbets can be interpreted as weak, but depending on your opponent, because if he calls a bet on the flop, especially on this board, you have to interpret it as either diamonds or a queen, and it just wasn't enough to get through Surge. And obviously we can see the cards, so we have a little better understanding. But Nicole, what do you think? I probably just would give up with ace deuce and
yeah, at that point, if I hadn't bet that turn, then the bet on the river just looks a little suspect. So unless he's really going to go for it and really put a large bet out there to make Serge second guess himself, at that point I'm probably going to look you up, because you did check behind on the turn when the diamond came and the king came. What are you betting now that you had to check behind on the turn with?
And that's, again, just have a plan with what you're going to do with your hand for should the cards come out. I will say this, if Surge, it would have been very hard for Surge to continue with that hand if Alex had fired turn and river.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure Surge, even if Surge got stubborn and called a bet on the turn, it's very hard for, if your opponent bets big again on the river, for him to call there.
So just take stock of, what game, especially in a game like this, which is not, a crazy off-the-wall, everybody firing on all cylinders game. A triple barrel, as we say, probably would have taken that down. But, queen you don't particularly like, a 10, 9.
There's not a lot of cards you like, actually, on the turn, really. You like a deuce and a 3, and that's probably about it.
King and a jack. Can all call one of those.
You want to call high?
That was not able to chase her straight draw to the river. That's the thing, another mistake sometimes the players make when they calculate, at least when they're starting out, when they calculate their future pot odds, their implied odds, they do that whole, okay, I have 8 cards, 4 times, I'm 32% roughly. But sometimes in their mind they think that, but they're not guaranteed to see the river. They say, oh, I have a straight draw, I get there a third of the time. But then obviously, Lizette just saw one street, so actually she was getting there, a half of a third of the time.
We don't know because we don't remember math.
21 more.
Which half times
so
1/3 is
1%.
Yeah, she's 17%.
15 is a raise from Mike on the button. Call from the blinds and call from Tyrlin, who had limped under the gun. Interesting flop here.
2-5-5. Everybody.
It's got a little bit of something.
All 4 players may like this flop, except Mike doesn't really realize that he's drawing.
She's drawing dead, but he still likes it. 50 is a bet from Alex with the best hand currently. Tara Lynn just folds her hand. She just folds the nut flush draw, which is interesting. I wonder if she knows about flush draws.
Maybe not.
Perhaps not.
And Alex is going to take it down, with what was the best hand. But I'm very surprised he got ace-8 to get out of there.
We didn't see more action there. He did 15, 30, 40. There was 60 in the pot. He bet 50. So almost pot-sized bet. Was a large bet for that pot, but still, everyone had a little piece of, in a 5-10 game, I think all opponents would have called that hand. The 3s, the 4-6, the ace-8 of clubs, all of them would still be in, at least if someone else hadn't raised.
Absolutely. And the 4-6 maybe not if it was like, one of the first people to act. Like I see a first raise, but definitely the ace-8 of clubs. Straight flushes against me. Fold on Zach at 10-8. And he's going to chuck it. A few more folds over to the aggressive Mike.
20.
And aggressive Mike is going to open it. $20, Queen 9 offsuit. Let's see what UB Ice has to say about that. He's going to toss in the calling chips with ace 10 of spades.
UB Ice. I like his name.
Over to the ladies. One call out of Marie-Lizette. She's got a couple of crabs, and they're going to see a flop.
Well, you know what? I like poker a lot.
She flops a set.
Wow, this is going to be an action hand. We've got a nut flush draw and a straight draw against middle set.
So I check it over to Alex. So Mike was a pre-flop aggressor, but checks over to Alex and he's going to bet. Bet's 30. 60 in the pot.
And
3-bet from Lizette. Let me look at Lizette and see what she bet there.
Which doesn't surprise me, especially in the spot on a board so draw heavy.
Can you just look at Lizette's chips there, Brian?
Oh my God!
And looks like they've...
Has she gone all in here? Wow. 60 more. Oh, okay. So Lizette's saying I told her 60 more. Maybe Alex is asking how much you have behind. That's why she's pushing her chips forward. But the bet was 60 more. Now Lizette is all in blind. So she's all in. Yep. Prior to the turn card.
Now Alex has a little decision on his hands since he knows he can't have the best hand, but he knows he's looking at what is most likely probably 13 outs.
I think
definitely 9. Well, in his mind. So what he's actually looking at is, what, 7 outs?
Oh, that's different.
No, I'm sorry, he has all 4s, yeah.
No, he has all 4s plus spades, so he has 8 plus 4 is 12.
Jack and deuce of spades.
Except for the, yeah, you're right. So 12 minus 2 is 10.
We should just look at our graphic, which says 21%.
Sometimes our graphics have been off these last couple weeks, our card graphics, but we have a new RFID table coming in very shortly, so who cares?
This is a very tough decision for Alex because, again, on that flop, you're putting in everything, you know, taking the shirt off your back and throwing it in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's tough to, you know, now that he's let it get to the river now, and you want to call off over 200 to go for your 10 outs. It's, you know, he's clearly not a favorite. It's basically gambling at this point. The pot is less than 200. He has 200 to call.
So he just kind of has to do the math in his head and put her on a.
The pot is 400 if you count her bet.
I think if he thinks this through, even though your hand seems so much stronger, you know, you got to probably put her on at least 2 pair in this spot. But oh boy, and we may see him do similar to what Serge did of falling in love with his hand and not being able to get away from it. It's really hard to think clearly in spots like this. Obviously, we can see that it's a probable fold, but his hand looks so good on the flop that it's going to be interesting to see what he does here. The action on the flop went...
He bet, Lizette 3-bet, he called.
He called, and then
Lizette shoved on the turn.
Basically shoved dark because she inadvertently put him out of position, so he checked.
Let's see what it is. Zach is going to show the card, Zach. 4 on the river. Oh, wow, he would have got there. 4 clubs on the river. Alex would have taken it down. Wow. Would have gotten a wheel.
Thank you.
And sometimes that's why you don't.
It's tough, you know. In the position, the way he played that hand, you almost have to fold on that turn. But it wouldn't have faulted him at all for getting them all in on the flop. That's where you want to get it in. That's where you have the most equity.
And that's probably the correct play. Even though she raised small, you probably just want to. Even though she's ahead, you know, it seems like you
want to see 2 cards, basically. You need to see 2 cards to keep your edge.
You don't want to play your hand out of position.
And then because you can see what happens when you don't. Now you've lost your edge, and you're supposed to just gamble for $200, and he didn't do it, and rightly so. But unfortunately, he would have won, and that's gonna stick in his head.
Absolutely. Well, that's a tough spot to be in, but yeah, I think he absolutely just should have. You know, if she has you beat, she has you beat, and the percentages. He's not as high, even though he has what in your mind is, I guess. It would seem like he has more outs than he does because he feels he has 2 overs, a straight draw, and a flush draw, but he has to know that he probably doesn't have actually 2 overs in that position.
Hey, I followed your stupid busted draw.
Rough spot to be in, my friend.
Got a new player in seat 6. We'll get you his name shortly.
So we've got a couple limpers in this pot. With all marginal hands.
35.
Limp, 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 and 35 out of the small blind, or excuse me, out of the big blind from Alex with Queen Jack.
UBI is going to try to thin the field here with a few picture cards.
Carolyn's back in the game. She's calling with Ace-3.
Hey, I'm Japanese. I understand.
No, I'm Filipino. That's
Tara Lynn joining in with Ace-3. It is the.
Wow, Lizette's going to call as well with Queen 9. We are gambling today, folks. Watch out.
We're looking to see some flops.
So 3-way action: Alex, Tara Lynn, and Lizette.
And Lizette's in position. May have factored a little bit into her call. Also, she just got bluffed.
120 in the pot. That's probably what mostly factors in. Yes, exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah, the only form of legalized gambling.
Alex has flopped middle and a gutter.
It's basically slot
It'll be
machines.
interesting to see how he plays it.
Instead of winning money, you win like little,
So about 120 in the pot, and yeah, he's still he's learning from Tara Lynn how to make bets here. Looks like about 60.
A little something for everybody on this pot.
So half pot.
And I think,
Tara Lynn only has about 130 remaining.
you know, she wants to last that full second hour to get a chance to play in the Mega Millions. But she does have the best hand right now.
I think she almost made it 2 hours already.
Oh, you could. Okay, Cherry.
Right here.
And if she calls, she may not know that she'll be close to pot committed, but she'll probably have to go with her hand no matter what hits in the turn. And I would think Lizette would have the presence of mind to probably give this up, even though it's very hard to put Tara-Lynn on range with hands. I think she's, of course, more scared of Alex's hand since he raised and has continuation bet on this flop. One of the things to keep in mind is sometimes continuation bets can be interpreted as weak, but generally people don't bluff on a flop like this. When it's all really high cards, people generally aren't going to fire away with their like low suited connectors. Right. It's just hard. It's just scary, especially with what your opponents can be holding.
So we're now heads up.
And looks like Alex gets there.
Alex sucks out, and he got 2 pair on the turn. He bet, and he puts Tara-Lynn all in.
Though Tara-Lynn does have a lot of cards she can catch to win.
Oh boy! That's not it. Unfortunately, Tara-Lynn is out.
Tara-Lynn.
UB Ice has stacked her. I don't know if she quite made it to. I don't think she quite made it to the Mega Million. She had like a few more minutes to go. If she would just have folded this hand, she would have had a Mega Million buy it. She just pushed all in on the turn. Congratulations! Oh, look at that, so sweet though. She's gonna give hugs. There you go. Take that $1 home for you. Just giving her back the $1.
Well, Tara-Lynn and I are both out on this hand. My replacement Zach's going to take over and be calling the shots for our new group of players.
So thank you to Keith Wernley. He's going to leave us for today, but he probably will be back.
Hopefully.
Did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much.
And we're going to get down to the action, and Zach's going to join me here in 1 second.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks, you guys. It's fun.
Thanks, Mike.
You only need 1 more hour. You can do that. You have 2 hours.
In this game versus a 5-10, I mean, what are you doing differently? What are your thoughts when you're playing this 5-5 game?
Well, I mean, I guess the biggest thing is, in general, I'm always going to be value oriented in any mid-stakes game, but I mean, you're not going to be playing. I guess you're not going to be making any bluffs that are going to require hand reading. You're going to bluff people off air, and you're going to bluff them off the real bottom portion of the range. But you don't have to make bluffs where, even though you're representing a hand well, that they're going to try to fold top pair. That's maybe one adjustment. But in general, I mean, just I guess another big thing is value bet extremely thinly. You notice people are calling pre-flop with hands like 10-6 in the big blind, and then the flop came 3 diamonds. We didn't get the opportunity to see if he was going to call a bet there. But if I had a hand like ace-10, I'm probably going to bet 3 streets there.
You think?
And don't go for a lot of pot control because they're not check raise bluffing often. Just value bet, and punish their big